My name is Amy Winston, and I'm a co-director of Queens of Pain.
My name is Cassie Hay. I'm a co-director of Queens of Pain.
And Nathan Falbrecht, producer of Queens of Pain.
Tell us a little bit about the film.
The film, it's a documentary feature, and we follow 3 skaters with the Gotham Girls Roller Derby out of New York City, which is the winningest roller derby league in the world. And more than that, it's a story of 3 women trying to do what they love the most and kind of the obstacles that they face.
Where did you find these lovely group of people, and what was this decision, okay, we're going to start here and we're going to end it here, because their story it's a great story, it's a story about winning and perseverance, but where did you find out about them in the first place, and where did you decide, okay, we're going to start the story here and we're going to end it here?
Thank you so much for that. I had a little bit of an advantage in that I used to skate with the Queens of Pain myself for 5 years, but I'll hand it over to Amy because Amy really helped shape it into a story.
So in the roller derby community, everyone knows Suzy Hotrod, so kind of our first intention was to make a film about her, and then we quickly realized we wanted more stories and there were more riches to be told. So Cassie knew Evilicious in the film, who has just had a baby, recovering from a C-section, trying to get back on skates. And then, we wanted a nice round number of 3 stories to tell, and we also wanted a rookie to follow, someone who the audience could relate to, someone who I could relate to, not being in the world of roller derby myself. And so we interviewed a couple of skaters, and we met Captain Smack Sparrow, and she's just a lovely human, loved her story. We love that she was born and raised in the same neighborhood where the practice crash pad is, and then that's how we just followed them over the course of the season.
Tell us a little bit about roller, this community, this culture, because I find it so fascinating and I don't know much about it.
Yeah, so I didn't know much about roller derby either, besides seeing Cassie skate in one game. So it was really interesting just diving into that world. There are 450 leagues across 6 continents. So even though it's a niche community, it's everywhere. And yeah, I think it's really interesting that it's all volunteer based. The women pay dues to play, and then they run the sport. They're running drinks, they're selling merch, they're setting up the track, they're skating and practicing. They're doing everything themselves, for themselves, by themselves. And I like also that the sport really celebrates individuality. You all have your derby name and your kind of alter ego. So I really love that aspect as well.
And it's a really fun to watch sport, but also the skaters take it really seriously. So for instance, Gotham, they skate 4 to 5 nights a week, 3 hours a night. So it's highly athletic, and the hits are real. So that's really the fun part of it.
And I'd love to hear Nate, our producer here, what he thought the first time he saw roller derby.
I mean, I think
as a sports fan,
I mean, one of the coolest things that I saw was the passion of the fans. I mean, they are out of control, dressing up, cheering like crazy, waiting in line. So
would you compare it to like WWE wrestling?
I feel like it used to be more in that world. It still has the entertainment. It still has a lot of the.
But would you say the fans are that rabid?
Oh yeah, they get crazy.
Passionate?
Yeah, they love it. And I thought from the first bout that I went to, because I knew nothing about roller derby, seeing that was just instantly drew you in. So I think that really, kicked it off for me.
Yeah, and it's kind of crazy because we actually had super fans who would show up, ask for our autograph. They would have been when I skated. They would be tracking our every move. So that was pretty cool. You'd go to a bar in New York, and your super fan would come up and be like, "I've been following you the whole season." So that was it's a lot of fun. A little scary, but cool. No, but it's a great community, and especially as I feel like women's sports sometimes don't have that type of fan base. So it was really a cool thing to witness.
Let me ask you this, since you are a former roller derby star yourself, with the pandemic coming around, everyone had to get outside. Bicycle sales went up, but also too, roller skate sales went up. So
They did.
how did that make you feel that people, were not only getting inline skates, but they were getting the normal four wheels, the normal skates. So how did that make you feel that people were picking it up again?
It's super cool. I know there was a run on roller skates. They were sold out all over the country, and I hope that translates to support for the sport, because it's been really hard for these women to not be able to skate, because obviously if we watch the film, it is high contact, so it's hard to avoid in COVID. But I think the cool thing is the sport's returning to its roots. It's always been a DIY sport, so I think that the sport's going to come out of the pandemic stronger. And I think people who've gotten roller skates, if they go watch a game, it's hard to have a bad time at a roller derby bout. So I think people have a lot of fun in store for them.
If you don't mind me asking, the hits are real. What is the most severe damage you've done to you? Or injury?
I remember one time Cassie and I were taking a trip together, and it wasn't until we got back to our hotel room where she asked if I could milk her bruise. She had a bruise in her leg that had swollen up and filled with blood, and her doctor had instructed her to kind of massage the blood back into circulation, and that was the hardest for you. That was the hardest for me, yeah.
Yeah, that was a hematoma that went from my hip to my knee, but I think the worst thing is I have a permanently separated shoulder. It got separated so many times, it's just now completely out of whack always.
Do you miss it? Not
roller derby?
Not the injuries, but the roller derby.
Oh, all the time. I really miss it. I miss the community. It's such a tight-knit group of women, and I just miss the exhilaration of skating before thousands of fans chanting your name, and just being able to, really land a hit. There's something that is really cathartic about that. When you've had a hard day at work and then you just go take someone out, it's pretty great. So I don't have that in my day-to-day life anymore. I miss it, so maybe I'll have to find a little replacement.
Awesome. Lastly, you've been to Austin Film Festival. You're now here in Oxford, Mississippi. What's next for the documentary, and where can we follow your successes?
So we are planning to hopefully attend more festivals this year, as well as we've been talking to different roller derby leagues about possibly hosting screenings with them while they're not able to practice and bout. And you can follow the film online, queensofpainfilm.com, and on Instagram and Facebook at Queens of Pain Film.
And I just have to say, we've had such a wonderful time here in Oxford, and we feel so grateful to have been part of the film festival.
Tell me about this wonderful time here in Mississippi.
Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, I've eaten so much good food. I just feel so well taken care of, and also just seeing so many great projects. And
Red Eye Gravy you tried for the first time today.
I tried Red Eye Gravy. I ate some good shrimp, but the town is wonderful. Beautiful square books, and also just meeting a community of filmmakers, and just feeling the support and people who really care about film. That's really wonderful.
Yeah, and with the COVID, I think they've done an amazing job of keeping it safe. I didn't know coming in what that was going to be like, so that's been really impressive to see as well.